Hello everybody, Dreamcast84 here. Today I want to talk to you about circumcision and the psychological effects of circumcision, how circumcision has affected my life, and there's overarching questions when it comes to circumcision. One that I would like to know is, why is it that it seems that certain men are unaffected? I'm not so sure if they suppress the trauma from infancy or what. I know that the body remembers, because I most certainly remember, my body remembers, I must have had, I don't know, like bundles of nerves or something. There are very sensitive nerve endings that get cut off, and I feel like I experience phantom pain from time to time, so there's that. Yeah, it's like this, like a weird numbing. That's normal. If you're cutting off a body part, you're gonna feel tingling from time to time, or the loss of it. So that's just your body remembering it. But the main crux of this video is the psychological effects of it, and there's just so many aspects of the practice that I am very against. There's like the sake of doing it for tradition. I don't believe that anything justifies doing it. Using religion as an excuse is a very poor one. I'm very much against religion. I'm very much for spiritualism and a personal relationship with God. I got this document here, and I might take pictures of the document, I guess, or I don't know. But yeah, with this document that I got here, yeah, I'm just going to quote from it. Genital cutting has physical, sexual, and psychological consequences. And it's so crazy that we live in this world where people are just oblivious. They don't want to think about it. They suppress it. They would prefer not to talk about it, not even address it. And if you want to consider the MGTOW aspect of it, it's incredible to me how society really bends over backwards for the cares and concerns for females, but when it comes to the cares and concerns of males, it's like other males don't care, and some do. I try to. There's a lot of MGTOWs that try to, but this isn't a MGTOW video. It's just about circumcision. But widespread physical, sexual, and psychological consequences. Okay, some studies link involuntary male circumcision with a range of negative emotions and even post-traumatic stress disorder. Some circumcised men have described their current feelings in the language of violation, torture, mutilation, and sexual assault. Yeah, I wish I would have had the choice to keep an irreplaceable part of my body, because the foreskin is a protective covering for the internal organ, which is the, I guess, the head of your penis, right? And some men are okay with having their penis heads exposed because of keratinization, which is callous skin that just tends to, I guess, grow or just develop over time. And I guess they experience more of a deadened sensations, in their penis. I feel uncomfortable talking about this to a degree, but this must be said. I think that the world needs to change. We've got to talk about this stuff even more. But I think I'm just the exact opposite. I feel extremely aware of my own penis, and it's just very, I don't know, just, I feel growing up that I had to adjust myself all the time, because I couldn't stand having my, like, urethra rubbing up against my clothes. It just ran me up, it just ran me up a tree, just ran me up a hill, it's just, I was just beside myself, and I always thought there was something wrong with me, but there was nothing wrong with me. What was wrong is society doing that to an innocent soul that didn't deserve to have that happen to him. And yeah, I have this psychological defense mechanism where I can't be around people. Like I can't be around my mother a lot of the times because I already know that she was responsible of doing that. I mean, she was supposed to guard me and protect me, but she let that happen to me. And it's really just a vicious attack. You come out of the womb, and one of your first experiences is that it's like terrifying. You're being attacked. You don't know what's going to happen, and I already know that as an infant that I withdrew psychologically, and that's what I do a lot of the times. Growing up, and I'm aware of it. I know what happens when it happens, but I psychologically withdraw when there's uncomfortable situations with other people, or if there's any kind of I don't know, kind of like a unpredictable scenario or something like that, or that's my defense mechanism. I just zone out, I guess. But negative emotions, yeah. I've always felt like there was just a cloud, like depression. I've always kind of been on preset to be depressed. My brain is set on depressed mode all the time, and I have to be conscious moment to moment. I'm getting better as I get older to steer my mind into a positive direction, but if I let my brain just go without any kind of self-discipline, I'll be like bedridden. I don't want to interact or do anything with it. I'm just depressed. And yeah, there's neurological changes that happen within the brain after having circumcision done to you as an infant, because your cortisol levels go up, and it just restructures your brain, and you just live the rest of your life being something that you weren't meant to be, and that's just another contention that I have against people who are advocates of the practice. They say that it's good, or it's like it's this and that, but it really defies all common sense. You just don't put a knife to a baby, And I've verbalized this before, but I want to be an agent of change. I want circumcision to stop in this world, and if I can play a small part in that, if I can influence people to not genitally mutilate their babies, then, I would feel better about my existence here. It would be, me trudging along with my life would be justified to a degree. So yeah, I've been violated. I wasn't given a choice. They strap the baby's arms down and they just do it to the baby. I mean, it's not good, man. I mean, like you don't do that to animals. Animals have more genital integrity than us humans. And just because it happens to boys, it's like, oh, whatever, screw them anyway, because, society just doesn't give a crap about boys. And I think that's really messed up, because we're incredibly misunderstood, and our needs go unaddressed, and our needs, our issues become compounded, is what I'm trying to say. Let me keep on with this PDF document that I printed, but I'm going off on tangents, but it's good. I feel like I need to let you guys know about the different dimensions of how I feel about this, because I don't think that all men experience circumcision in the same way. I think some men are more affected than others, and I'm the type of person to be already sensitive anyway. I already feel misunderstood anyway, and I always had to just adjust myself and stuff, and like thankfully I found I got to put my ego to the side, but I found a solution that works for me. I've tried restoration, which is foreskin restoration, where you stretch the skin, but I can't do that. It makes my rage, my like rage of being circumcised, just it brings so much negativity up to the surface that I just I can't do it. So I've started to wear Band-Aids, right? And I wear Johnson's and Johnson tough strips. And the only reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I might be able to help somebody. There might be somebody out there with the same problem. And I've read a lot of, I guess, forums or there's websites on this stuff. And I don't know. I'm guessing the vast majority of men are just forced to think that they're okay, or maybe they got enough keratinization or something where they, they're just not affected or something, or I don't know, or maybe they just have like neurological differences that aren't compounded like I have. I don't know. There's just so much questions, and I think there needs to be more research put into this subject. But let me just read from this document. It is now generally acknowledged that any potential medical benefits of routine circumcision are outweighed by its risks and drawbacks. I completely agree with that. It's really rough just being a man in general, and on top of that, this is something that you do to slaves. This is what you do to cattle. You brand them, you scar them, you demoralize them, and in this document later on it says that circumcision is a social control mechanism, makes more men docile and complacent and agreeable to I suppose commercialism, or just the will of the state, I guess. But let's see here. 80 to 85% of the world's adult males remain genitally intact. So what is so screwed up about America that we have to double down on being really dumb? Like, I want to avoid using the term retarded, and I want to avoid I was doing some inner work, and I was just thinking about how I want to be, and I want to make less jokes, or at least expose myself to less jokes about like diabetes or cancer, or my father died of pancreatic cancer. I'm going on a tangent, but there's a ton of pancreatic cancer jokes for some reason, and it's not funny because my father died of pancreatic cancer. So I don't understand cancer jokes. I've just noticed that in the last few years, more and more people have no qualms against it, and who knows, there might be circumcision jokes later on, and yeah, it's just living in this world makes me want to just withdraw mentally even more, or to just control my environment, or just get off of that side of the internet. Like if you're looking up memes, if you're just like browsing for memes and stuff like that, that's into that tangent. But yeah, I hear different figures. Sometimes, like pro-circumcision articles, they state that the percentage is higher, that like 60% of the world is not circumcised, but like I've been getting 80% for the non-circumcised side of things. So who knows? I just feel like articles that are pro-circumcision are just biased, and they're trying to frame things and say things in a certain way in order to make you believe the lies. Like there's a lie about how it decreases the risk of HIV/AIDS, and that is a big lie. How can you get rid of a protective organ? Like how can you get rid of skin and then decrease your risks of something? That is so sexist against men, where you're saying that a natural part of your anatomy is bad. For this and that, whatever reason, it's evil. I believe that circumcision is a satanic act, and that religions are satanic. I mean, there's already like pagan rituals that churches and stuff like they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? The only thing that is real is you and your relationship with God. And all of these brick and mortar churches are just placating and kowtowing to females and their brood, their offspring. It's all about catering to the children and their sensibilities, and screw men. Just forget men. Men are supposed to be little sacrificial lambs. I guess we're supposed to be like Jesus. We're just supposed to just let bad things happen and just take it. Well, I tell you what, I'm not a little slave like that. I'm not going to take it. And I have a voice, and we're supposed to have freedom of speech here in America, but I don't know, YouTube crackdowns and stuff. Another tangent. Let's stay focused. Okay, objections to circumcision have been articulated for a while, with increasing concerns coming from the professional mental health community. Yeah, I mean, like, we live in this world where females are just constantly saying how they're scared of men, or like they're scared of toxic masculinity. There will be less of this quote-unquote toxic masculinity when we get rid of circumcision. American males are incredibly aggressive, and I can be from time to time if I get triggered. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as I'm saying, when I get older, as I get older, I find myself more composed and tempered, and just being the type of person that I want to be, and that's who I want to be ultimately. Just a very refined, a man who knows how to handle himself and compose himself. The key word here is composure. But being depressed growing up, feeling misunderstood. I don't know. I just feel like things are just geared against us. I grew up with the Columbine shootings, and I was kind of quiet growing up, and people would be like concerned about me, and I guess I would be standoffish because I just never really felt like I could connect with anybody. I never really felt like I was a part of the group, and it's not like I didn't have friends at all, but it's like most of my friends were in Boy Scouts at the time, and but just going through school, I just was going through it just to get out. I think that I resisted a lot of the indoctrination because I had a lack of ambition. I just didn't try. I just kind of like coasted through school with a C average, I believe. So, and I think that having been circumcised, it affects your motivation in life. Doing cost-benefit analysis, that's something that I've learned through MGTOW philosophy, but just being shortchanged through life like that, just and just dealing with people who are callous to you and uncaring, and they just don't want to hear. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's so frustrating how like feminists tell us to verbalize and to let them know how we feel and stuff like that, but that's really the last thing they need. That's the last thing they want. They don't. You know what I mean? Like I've stopped caring a long time ago, trying to quote unquote get pussy, right? Because females don't care about you as a person. They just don't. And they get offended and they're saying, "Oh, well, I'm not like every other one. I'm tired of it. Like, I know what I know, and I've experienced what I've experienced, and I don't want to have my intelligence being insulted by some female that insists that she is the exception to the rule, and then she'll prove you different later on. Because it must be nice living in this ethereal realm where you can justify all of your actions just because of how you feel from moment to moment. It must be nice having to live life and just experience as opposed to create. Men are the true creators, and we're really great. And we're being knocked down several pegs by being circumcised. It's just this big, demoralized, satanic, horrible thing. I think that it creates narcissists. My father, which was circumcised, I believe, he was very callous and very, I guess, had narcissistic traits and had a hard time empathizing with others. And I think that's a very common thing that circumcised men have. Like, I have a very hard time empathizing with others from time to time. I have to make myself empathize. I want to be an empathetic person. I want to have, I want to be a heartful person. I've been looking into heartfulness meditation, and I think it's helped me to a degree, but things have really come to a boil. I've had a friend that I've kept correspondence with online, and he, when I opened up to him about being circumcised and how I felt about it, I felt like he was gaslighting me, saying something like, you probably think that you're God because of your experience with being circumcised or something. It's like, and I emailed him back and just said, you don't, just because you don't, understand basically doesn't make my experience any less valid, and I totally empathize with men who may be agnostic or atheist because of being circumcised and having a negative experience with that, because I can understand being just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. A horrible analogy because we're talking about infants and being circumcised, but hopefully you know what I mean. But throwing out the whole doctrine of the Bible and Christianity and stuff like that because you've been circumcised, I think that that's something that God has to take note of and forgive totally, because this is ridiculous. We shouldn't be living in this world where we have this like social control mechanism that we're like told that we're inherently bad and all this and all that, and then we have bad stuff done to us, and then like we're blamed for everything that's bad in this world. It's like bad enough to be a man, and we deserve more compassion and empathy from each other first and foremost, and we need to demand it from females, and we need to turn down females sexually more often to let them know that we don't need them. We need to start taking plays from their rule book to turn things around, but the way things are going, it's just not happening. But tangents galore. So among the sequelae, which is associated problems, basically, horrible definition, but among the conditions considered with circumcision, there's pain, problems in sexual functioning, and emotional distress or trauma, all factors that impact on men's psychosexual health and well-being. Basically, how you feel about your genitalia really plays a big factor in your overall confidence as a human being. It must be nice being a female and having your genitalia protected by law. Nobody can circumcise you if you're a female. Oh, heaven forbid you get circumcised if you're a female, but if you're a man, just, whatever, screw you. It's your fault for being born male, right? That's how I feel, man. Just the injustice of that. It's just, I don't know. This video right here is therapeutic. I needed to get this off my chest. I'm just really happy to have this out in the universe. Might be kind of a long video, but I don't care. I need to upload this and get this out there. So, okay, pain. I don't have like crazy pain or nothing, but it's just like there's like a phantom pain, and the abrasion against clothing. It's like I just go crazy. It's like if I didn't have Band-Aids in my life, it's like I don't want to live my life dependent on anything. And then but I have to have Band-Aids in order to be comfortable. So I want to keep cursing at a minimal, but if I let a curse word slip here or there, it's because the subject is just very triggering. I've found that I can talk about circumcision a whole lot more the more I talk about it, and a lot of men avoid the topic because it's it's difficult for them, and even mentioning the word circumcision just makes people just cringe. I used to be like that, and I've went through tremendous rage. I've gone through phases where I've just just been extremely mad at my mother for making the ultimate decision to do that. I just can't believe the hatred you must have. Like, just society says that it's good, but it's fucked up. See, there I am cussing. Here I am thinking about my nephew listening to this one day. Hopefully he understands, but fortunately he is uncircumcised. So I've tried to reach out to his mother before, my sister, and she got mad at me because I was trying to spread information about circumcision, and she was saying, "Oh well, I decided not to, circumcise, my son." And like she thought that the conversation just had to stop right there. She just I've always felt invalidated within my own family, and just overlooked and not even considered, and like I don't have a voice, and it's just very frustrating, and I just feel very alone in my family. I'm the youngest boy of 3 older sisters. I got 3 older sisters. I'm the youngest boy, and the problems that I have talking about circumcision, even if I'm trying to talk to them about it, is just met with crickets. They don't talk about it. I mean, nobody wants to talk about genitalia, but it's not like I'm trying to talk about it in a sexual way. I'm not trying to be weird about it. I'm trying to raise awareness. I reached out to them, my older sisters. I reached out to them to try to talk about circumcision, how it's affected me, and try to talk to them about how I felt about myself within the family, and issues that I had, and they didn't respond. And they're adults. We're all adults now, and it's just they don't have time for me. And I just feel extremely misunderstood and overlooked, and there's just problems with that, and I don't know. It's just it's hard not to get overwhelmingly depressed about thinking about my family from time to time. It's just it's rough. Nobody has perfect families, however. I mean, like gotta count our blessings in the good ways we did have it. At least my parents didn't hit us. We didn't have like an abusive. We just had like a lot of drama, narcissism, and stuff like that. But yeah, newborns feel pain, totally. Even if they use anesthetic, they still feel it. And plus, there's the aftermath of it, and just the withdrawal, and like the brain change, and just that horrific. I mean, just imagine. People online say if you watch a circumcision on YouTube or just anywhere online, if you just watch it, you will not circumcise your son. A lot of people who make the decisions never watch a video about it. I think that everybody must be obligated to watch a video of a baby just screaming in pain, just horrifying pain. Just those screeches, the yelps, you need to see that. And if you have a soul, you'll keep your child. You will protect your child. Nobody deserves to have their genitals mutilated as an infant. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to keep reiterating that. Okay, stress hormones triggered by intense pain and the adverse effects they may exert on brain development, sexual function, and behavior. Severe pain during infancy may permanently and irreversibly alter neurological circuitry responsible for pain perception and memory. Not so sure about that, but pain perception, yeah, I have a higher pain threshold and a high temperature threshold too. Growing up, I could withstand cold temperatures a whole lot more than other people. There's something to do with males that are circumcised are good soldiers. I come across information like that, like because they're just I guess because of the PTSD symptoms, they are more on guard, they are more on edge. And yeah, I always feel like I have to be in control of my surroundings, because if I'm not, then things don't go the way I need it to go and stuff. I'm a very particular person in that regard. And I've always been that way, and I've always, I, 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 I guess I've kind of pushed people away because, I'm just so particular, or, just growing up, I would just, I don't know, I'm getting better with age, and plus I've recognized all this and done a lot of inner work with all of this, but just like I'm saying, just being particular and just just having to do things my way and stuff like that. Like, it's just really interfered with my bonding with other people, and it's interfered with my trusting. I don't trust people. I just don't. You have to earn my trust, and I don't know. I become disappointed in other people easily, and maybe I'm not just realistic enough, but like I keep saying, I'm getting better with age, but it's just just the tip of the iceberg type stuff. Me talking about how particular I am, or my personality traits and stuff. Circumcision really does explain a lot of how I am and why I am the way I am. It pretty much just answered everything. Like, when I was researching circumcision, and really getting into it just a couple of years back, it just really shed a whole spotlight on why I am the way I am. And yeah, avoidant behavior, I highlighted that in this document. Yeah, I am totally a lone wolf a lot of the times. I prefer to do things myself. I'm I don't I don't embrace crowds. I'm not a extrovert at all. I prefer to be alone a lot of the times. I'm the happiest when I'm alone. That's not to say that I shut the door on people. I've been keeping correspondence with people online. I think that it's a little bit more comfortable for me to have, an emotional bond with my brothers online. Just guys on here on YouTube and stuff like that. It's just it's good to have friends, but sometimes I feel like I get a little bit too close with them and stuff, or like they, you know what I mean? Like, it's just yeah, I feel the energy if they're having a bad time, or they're depressed, or they're talking about suicide or something. I get real bummed out, and I don't like that. I want to be a friend, and sometimes it becomes overwhelming, because, friendships are like plants. You got to water them, and sometimes I require a whole lot of alone time sometimes, and I just don't want people to feel like I'm leaving them hanging. But at the same time, I mean, like, I'm aware of things, and I'm trying to be more transparent and try to set ground rules about stuff, because I don't think that I have a whole lot of boundaries, I guess, because I always kind of like start friendships or start relationships, and I don't tell people, I don't know what to tell them about boundaries and how things need to be for me and stuff like that. Maybe it's just because I didn't have enough experience, but it just seems like things always kind of like go south when things are just kind of like left to their own devices. I've, with my past girlfriends and stuff, it's just, I don't know, it's just like, I think I was just trying to be the clown. Like, growing up with my sisters, I was trying to be the clown, and with girlfriends and stuff, I was trying to be the clown too. I was trying to be their little entertainment. I think it was like the only way that I realistically knew that I could get with girlfriends. Yeah, there's something in this document about how circumcised men feel completely dissatisfied with their sex lives, and I'm putting my ego to the side here too. What do I have to prove to anybody? I've only slept with 3 girls in my life. Maybe four. I don't know. It's just like, I've been with girls before, like, for like about 2.5 years at a time, and like in my 20s and stuff like that, like high school, and in my 20s, like late teens, like all my 20s and stuff, and I don't know. It's just that I'm kind of a long-term relationship type guy, but it's just that I see females for what they are. They don't really care about you for who they are, who you are. It's all about money and status and stuff. That becomes more apparent as you get older and get out of college and stuff. But yeah, like like I guess as men we want sexual variety, but I've only I'm at a good stopping point. It's just like that, you're just starting to think with your higher consciousness, and you just don't want to play the game anymore. You just I feel like there's just like this tremendous hit on your self-esteem, and another aspect of it is that like with sexual functioning, like there's like circumcised men develop erectile dysfunction later in life, and there's a lack of self-esteem. It's like I feel like I'm like an attractive enough guy, but I don't feel that way. Like, I mean, I have incredible low self-esteem and stuff like that, and it's just crazy how like men who have been circumcised, they have to like thrust more, like when they're masturbating, in order to maintain an erection. And I mean, yeah, putting my ego to the side again, yeah, it's like that's what I have to do, because of if I wasn't circumcised, I could just maintain an erection like easily, and I believe this is a common problem that a lot of men are too proud to admit. And hey, I'm putting myself out there because I want to help men, because it's messed up, man. This world is messed up. This is another reason why I don't want to have children. I don't want to vote with my DNA. Like, I'm not in favor of this reality. This is a messed up. This world wants to just cut babies. Fuck this world. That's how I feel. But what were we talking about? We were talking about how, females judge us based on our sexual performance, and yet at the same time they say that they want circumcised penis because it's more aesthetically pleasing to them. And at the end of the day, they don't know what they want, because women who have been reported to have sex with an uncircumcised man, they say that they prefer sex with an uncircumcised man, because I mean it just makes sense. There's that natural gliding motion that you get with the foreskin that makes sex pleasurable. And when you are circumcised, like the vagina is going to dry out more often, and it becomes more painful for the woman. It wrecks the bonding that could be there between sexual partners. So I've been completely cheated and thrown under the bus. And not only with circumcision, but like my generation, there's this whole depopulation agenda. I wasn't even given a shot. You know what I mean? And if you want to have a girlfriend, you have to put in so much effort. And that's not what it's all about. When you research circumcision, you get all kinds of information about like, oh, how women prefer circumcised. What about the man and his experience and how he feels as an individual? Nobody wants to hear anything about that. And that's insane. That's insane, because we're all spiritual creatures. And men have souls, and we have a voice, and it's just so invalidating that the voice of a female is worth more than the voice of a male. And it's just wrong and messed up. And like I'm saying, I'm not in favor of this reality, this whole gynocentric thing. Like I try not to stay focused on it. Here recently, I've been all about MGTOW in the past few years, but just here recently, I've just been just kind of, I don't want to say plugging back into the matrix. I already know what I know, but I'm trying to enjoy my hobbies more and just trying not to focus on hating females as much. I'm trying to look at the good side of females too, because there's like a lot of good YouTube content creators that might talk about spiritualism and stuff like that. And I'm trying to quote unquote eat the meat and spit out the bones, which means that I'm trying to get the content. And if they're talking about something that I don't jive with, I just kind of, glean that over. But not trying to hate females, because it's really ruinous to the soul to hate females. And plus, MGTOWs don't hate females. I mean, like, if we hated females, we wouldn't talk about them. We've just been shafted by females. But that's just society, and that's just hypergamy and female nature and all this and all that. It's just, I don't know. I recommend the MGTOW stuff, but I recommend looking at the philosophical side of it, getting the main bullet points of the MGTOW philosophy, and then just applying it to your own life. But don't dive into the echo chambers necessarily, because that's just a negative cesspool of just garbage, and you're not going to get anything out of it except maybe some brotherhood, but then it's just going to be just like I don't know, you're going to be quarreling amongst yourselves. But, disassociation of the traumatic experience and emotional pain may be employed by the infant as a psychological defense. I totally do that. I don't know, man. Like, I've had an incident with a coworker where, like, he was trying to, say a bad joke, and it just came across the wrong way. And I just kind of froze. I didn't react. And it was good that I didn't react, because I think that some people just out there, they got demons. They just want to see how they can get to you, get under your skin. And I just didn't react. And I'm very proud of myself for not doing that. But not everybody does that. Everybody reacts in some sort of way. I just kind of froze. And it's because I didn't really feel comfortable around the guy. But that's just a small example of how I kind of operate from time to time. Sometimes someone's talking to me and I act like I don't hear them, just because I don't want to get into it, because they're being negative. And I have a strong avoidance for negativity. I really strive to be positive as much as I can, but at the same time, I'm human, and I need to vent with people that I'm comfortable with. But at the same time, I don't want to drag them down. I'm very conscious about how I'm affecting others, and I don't want to be an energy vampire to anybody. And it's rough, because I feel like I don't have anybody to talk to. But at the same time, I'm accused of pushing people away because of, I think it's just, circumcision is the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to misunderstanding and pushing people away, and just being an isolated man. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I've, I have found peace in solitude. I prefer it. I'm very comfortable with being by myself a lot of the time. That's where I recharge. I'm a true introvert. I have to be just completely alone in order to recharge my batteries. And circumcision impedes the maternal-infant bonding totally. I totally don't feel close to my mother. I never was really big on hugs. I was never really big on hugs for my father either. But when my father was alive, I could not talk about circumcision. It's just that him having cancer really kind of superseded everything. It's just all about trying to make his last years comfortable. But I did the best I can. I just felt like I always kind of was pushing myself on the back burner. And I did everything I could to make my relationship with him as ideal as possible at the time. I don't have any regrets. I love my father to death. I love him. But I'm not going to say but. I'm just going to say I'm just going to say I love my father. Period. That's it. Okay. But yeah, I just don't want to say anything bad about my father, because he was a great man. He was a very charismatic, good man. I mean, I know that if he knew that circumcision was going to affect me the way it did, that he would not have done it. But one of his mantras, or one of his common sayings, was, "You do your best and go on." And you might find me saying that from time to time in my videos. But yeah, it must be rough for parents who fell for the trap of the, circumcision is good and everything, and then they have to raise their baby knowing that they made a grave decision. I mean, like I said, the foreskin is not an organ that you can regrow. You just can't. We're not chameleons or whatever. We're not iguanas or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, just because people tell you that this or that is good, you gotta think. You gotta think for yourself. And there's people out there who are having children, and they shouldn't be. You just shouldn't have children if you're going to be circumcising your sons. This just doesn't make sense. You wouldn't circumcise your daughter, so why circumcise your son? I think that mothers and females who decide to circumcise their sons should circumcise themselves. Just go ahead and get that done, But there's laws against females, so it's like females just they have their genitalia just kind of protected, but us men, we don't, for some really dumb reason. I don't understand. Circumcision is perceived by the child as an aggressive attack upon his body, which damaged, mutilated, and in some cases totally destroyed him. Totally agree with that. I have total low self-esteem. I feel like I've been cheated. It was an aggressive attack on my body. I feel damaged. I feel like I'm damaged goods. I feel like if I ever get into a relationship with a female ever again, which I don't see myself ever doing that, I just don't. I feel like I got too many walls up. But if I was to ever get into a relationship with a female, I would have to hand her, like, this PDF file that I've highlighted. This, like, I have to give them an instruction manual for me. Or else they wouldn't even, you know what I mean? They would have to express interest in me to begin with, to read something that could explain me better. And I just feel like, no one is willing to give me that that small gesture. They're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like the universe doesn't respond to me. Like it's like I don't deserve understanding. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of men who are circumcised. They commit suicide. And suicide is a very serious thing, and it's very depressing. And yeah, there's men who are affected like that, and it's just so depressing. It's like, nothing is worth killing yourself over, But my heart goes out to men who do that. I mean, like, if you're depressed over being circumcised, and you're watching this video right now, just please don't kill yourself. Don't do it. But I totally understand and empathize. I totally do. Maybe there's some like online forums that I can join or something, but I have a bumper sticker on the back of my car. It says, "His body, his choice." And I'm hoping that people think twice about what they've done to their children, and what they could do for their future children, how they can avoid circumcision. So I'm really trying to enact change in this world, and I just feel like it's just this overwhelming feat with America and how backwards America is. America sucks. I'm not patriotic at all. Just being just a punk to the world. Just starting these dumb wars that cost all this money. And money is an illusion anyway. It's just the elites can pay off everything in a heartbeat if they really wanted to. They just want to keep us in debt, and they just want to mutilate babies for no damn reason. Fuck them. And I know I'm cussing. But that's really how I feel. That's my raw emotions when it comes to it. The elites can fuck themselves, because they could be benevolent leaders and they could change the world for a better place. But they're selfish. They just want us to destroy ourselves. They don't want to help us. They want to just poison us and see us be miserable and see us die. They want us dead. So fuck them. Ritual circumcision appeared to be associated with increased aggressiveness, weakening of the ego, withdrawal, reduced functioning, and adaptation. And it says here nightmares consistent with PTSD, but I don't personally have nightmares consistent with PTSD. That's why I say that I think that I have a mild form of PTSD, where I have like the avoidant behavior and the I guess the guardedness. But I would like to say that I have a little to no ego. I think it's a good thing not to have a big ego. You don't want to be egotistical, right? But it's interesting that they say weakening of the ego because I don't know. I want to become more of a spiritual person, and I have contentions against circumcision because I see videos about meditation and like self-healing and stuff like that, and I'm just thinking, like, can I ever really go through this process of meditating or whatnot, because I'm incomplete, you know? I have questions on, like, is God gonna accept me into heaven because of something? It's like, of course he is, because being circumcised isn't anything that I did to myself. It's just, I don't know, it's just there's this widespread ramifications of doing it. Like, you live your life being misunderstood, and there's all kinds of problems that stem from being circumcised, and you might not make the best decisions in your life. We're human. We might have done regretful things. And does Jesus or God or whatever, do they take that into account? Is everything just meaningless? You know, I don't know. I think that we should all strive to be good people, but it's just that it's a curse. Circumcision is a curse. It's a life sentence. It's jail time. It creates a special type of slave, and like I said, I completely understand why men would kill themselves, because of it's like they don't want to end their lives, they just want to end the pain that's associated with their lives. And guys, I mean, things get better. I mean, like, you can make, like me, it's like I have my good days and bad days. It's just that I can go a good long stretch being happy or trying to be happy, but then I crash, and I just crash, and it takes a lot for me to get back up. But I'm not speaking from any kind of authoritarian standpoint or anything like that. I just I don't know. I needed to get this video out, and I'm not even done yet. And I know it's long, but this needs to go out into the universe. Let's see. Ramos and Boyle observed an incidence of PTSD of almost 70% among boys subjected to ritual circumcision, and 51% among boys subjected to medical circumcision with local anesthetic. Long-term follow-up would be needed to gauge the extent to which PTSD persists over the lifespan of these circumcised boys. If my kind of small case of PTSD, like my I don't have full-blown PTSD, I would not say, because I mean, it's like I'm not like in catatonic stress where things trigger me and then I'm like, you know, shivering and just like you know, in shock in the corner somewhere. You know what I mean? Like you know, I don't have like Vietnam War PTSD, but if my PTSD symptoms could be alleviated throughout time, just to get less and less, then that's good. I welcome that. You know, I think things get a lot better with age, but at the same time, it's like your personality just kind of congeals. Like you're pretty much the person that you're gonna be at like 35, right? Or like in your 30s, you're already the person that you know what I mean? Like let's hope you did enough personal work where you're, you know, happy with who you are at that point. The outcome of painful childhood trauma includes long-lasting neurophysical and neurochemical brain changes. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's just like, men are just misunderstood to begin with, and then we have something that just like makes us even more different from the rest of society and the world. And men want to connect, and we want to form bonds and be parts of families, start families and stuff like that. And divorce rates are just really crazily high and stuff, and I just feel like that the empathy that we get is non-existent. And men hate other men, women hate men. We're alone, guys. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody cares. You know, I try to be good to my fellow man, but at the same time, you know, if I notice that my efforts are not appreciated, then that's when I withdraw. And I do that more often than I'd like to admit, because it's not like I'm proud of it, but like I said, like it's hard for me to establish boundaries, or even for me to articulate where I'm coming from. Like it's really hard for circumcised men to pinpoint their own feelings and to express their feelings in that regard. So it's really rough, because like when messed up stuff happens, it's like I don't do anything. It's like I'll just let the moment pass, and I should probably stand up for myself more at times or whatever, and like I'm getting better with it, but I think that mindfulness meditation helps, like just being in the now moment, and it's just standing up for yourself and stuff like that. Like I'm getting better with that type stuff, but I'm not really where I need to be yet. But I just feel like yeah, I don't know. I was just extremely avoidant, and I didn't really stand up for myself growing up. I would pride myself in avoiding fights, not starting fights. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I went through all school. Just maybe I don't think I was ever in one fight. I was in, I just always just kind of just squirmed my way out of it. I don't know. I don't know. Just thinking back at, talking about tangents and stuff, just like old bullies and stuff. It's like, I don't know. They just wanted attention, I guess. I don't know. Reinhardt, in a report of adult clinical cases, concluded that a man circumcised as a child is more likely to react with terror, rage, and/or disassociation when confronted with situations interpreted as threatening. As in any situation of post-traumatic stress, an event resembling any aspect of the original traumatic experience is more likely to provoke negative emotions such as panic, rage, violence, or disassociation. I'm big on the disassociation front. I have been in the rage phase. Panic, I do get kind of panicked sometimes when I'm in situations that I can't control, or if I can't find my keys or something like small. It's like everything's going to be okay. It's just calm down, you know what I mean? But like, I'm sounding like a skipping record, but yeah, it's I forgot what I was going to say. I just I have these symptoms, but I don't know. It's normal to get panicked from time to time, but I just feel like getting panicky over like little things is not really that healthy. Having like just straight up rage, that's associated with circumcision, so it's like it's understandable, but it's not like I'm just getting like rage over a little small nothing. It's like I know the reason why I'm upset from time to time because of it. I think I've gotten a lot of that anger out of my system, and I've gotten a lot of anger from taking the red pill, quote unquote red pill, from the MGTOW stuff. So I got a lot of that out of my system. I think that is something that a lot of men need to go through in order to get to the next level, of spiritualism and just philosophy and stuff like that. Just being disassociated. Like I said, I'm just kind of I don't know. I'm a lone wolf, man. I just it's like I'm not here. I just I'm here, but I'm not here, and it's hard to empathize with people and stuff. It's just I can't feel close to people. I just can't. Let me keep reading here. It is therefore not surprising that PTSD may result from childhood circumcision, just as it does from childhood sexual abuse and rape. That's because it is rape. So you are cutting off genitalia with a scalpel. It's rape with a scalpel. It's the same thing, only worse. If some female comes up to me and says, I was raped, I can go back up to her and say, well, you have your genitals, don't you? You still got your genitals, don't you? Yeah, they don't take away the whole penis. They just take away 10% of it, I guess. But it's like the best part of the penis. It's got the sensory nerve endings and stuff like that. It's an injustice. It's wrong. Why do we have to be punished like that? Like what did little innocent boys do to the universe to deserve being mutilated like that? And then growing up in a world that tells them that they're bad. Girls are made out of sugar and spice and everything nice, and boys are snakes and snails and puppy dogs' tails. Fuck that shit. All babies are innocent and pure and nice and awesome until they're taught that they're good or bad. And there's a lot of horrible females that are bad. And there's a lot of awesome boys who are good. And vice versa. I guess we all need to take in consideration that we all were babies at one point, and to the horrible people in our lives, we need to recognize that they were babies at once too, and bad things happened to them, and we need to extend our hearts and I guess our minds to them and pray for them and stuff like that. But I just want healing in this world, man. We need understanding, and I feel like circumcision is so complex. It creates this like hardcore division in society between the genders and stuff, because mutual reciprocation and love between genders is kind of the glue of society, and if you mess with that, it's just easier to control the populace, and that's why I'm gonna just go ahead and say again, the elites can fuck themselves. It is therefore not surprising that PTSD may result from childhood circumcision, as does from childhood sexual abuse and rape. I just said that. Sorry for taking up all your time. Circumcision involves an imbalance of power between perpetrator and victim, contains both aggressive and libidinal elements, and threatens a child's sexual integrity by amputating part of the genitalia. Some men circumcised in infancy or childhood without their consent have described their present feelings in the language of violation, torture, mutilation, and sexual assault. Even if the psychological sequelae of circumcision do not coalesce into the formal diagnosis of PTSD, it is possible that there may be long-lasting effect on a man's life, particularly in psychologically sensitive individuals with comorbidity factors. Now, comorbidity factors are factors that overlap on each other. It's just more than one factor. So I'm not so sure if I have comorbidity factors, but I am psychologically sensitive, I would believe. I would just go ahead and say that. But I think that's worth more introspection. Many circumcised men who have recognized the loss of a highly erogenous, irreplaceable part of their penis have reported long-lasting emotional suffering, grief, anxiety, and depression, and a sense of personal vulnerability. Avoidance or obsessive preoccupation with such a loss, along with anger, can be difficult to reconcile for some men depending on their particular personality. Emotional numbing, avoidance of the topic of circumcision, and anger are potential long-term psychological consequences of the circumcision trauma. I used to not want to talk about it at all, and now I just want to do nothing but talk about it. And the more I talk about it, the better for me, because it's easier to talk about. And if we don't talk about this as a people, nothing's going to change. So, yeah. Circumcision and sexuality. Immerman and Mackey described circumcision as a low-grade neurological castration. They argued that the resultant glands keratinization and neurological atrophy of sexual brain circuitry due to loss of sensory input of the brain's pleasure center may serve as a social control mechanism, which produces a male who is less sexually excitable and therefore more amenable to social conditioning. I don't know about that. I've always kind of resisted brainwashing, but then again, growing up I watched a lot of TV, so who knows how I was screwed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but all I want to say is that I'm aware of it now, and I don't know, like going through college and stuff, I was very interested in marketing and how they try to, sway our opinions and try to get us to think a certain way so we can, buy products and stuff like that. I think that advertising is just incredibly interesting. But at the same time, it's insulting to the intellect because they turn up the volume so high at commercials. Just watching TV growing up and stuff, they would turn the volume up. You'd watch the main program, and then the commercial would come up, and it would be like really loud. And it's just like, you must think I'm just an idiot. But we see it for what it is. I think a lot of people see it for what it is. Heterosexual intercourse is less satisfying for both partners when the man is circumcised. We've pretty much talked about that. The possible deleterious effects on social and marital relationships. Like I said, I don't feel close to people in general. I just don't. I don't have close bonds with people, and it sucks. And that's probably the most painful part of it. Like being circumcised to begin with is rough enough, but having people not understand and having that division and having I don't think a lot of people just aren't willing to understand, or they're just not able to understand. And it's something that you must understand if you want to have, if a female wants to have a relationship with a male. And I think, I'm not going to say all women are incapable, but I would say the vast majority are unwilling to empathize with men because we're not human beings, we're human doings, according to them. That's just the truth, and it's unfortunate. So, you know, I don't know. It's just kind of like an emotionally heavy thing to talk about it. Just the misunderstanding, the social aspect of it. You know, just what I'm missing out on in life, what I've already missed out on in life. Just incredibly depressing, and I see other people get together and stuff, and I see people like pair bond, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Why do they get to do that? You know what I mean? Like, I used to, I've become more at ease being single and like counting my blessings. I'm saying, hey, you know what? I don't have some woman in my life controlling me. I don't have kids. You know, my money is my money and stuff like that. But it's good to count your blessings. That way you can be happy about it. But I'm human. I've wanted a girlfriend for a long time. There's times where I even still want, a girlfriend. But just the way things are in this world, it's just I just don't see it happening, and it's just incredibly frustrating from time to time. But if you want to label me as some sort of incel, that's cool. I'm very I'm a voluntary MGTOW monk, and I strive to be a MGTOW monk. But I don't take offense to the term incel. I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm not with a female anyway. It's just like it doesn't matter. I mean, anything else is like shaming language, and like MGTOW is beyond shaming language. It's like we see that for what it is, and MGTOW is just another thing that's like misunderstood too. People just don't want to understand it. It's a very understandable topic. Like MGTOW, you can look into and understand it, but people just want to have confirmation bias and to say that MGTOW are women haters and stuff like this. But that's just tip of the iceberg when it comes to that conversation. Intimacy problems, addiction, dependency problems. Like, I'm backsliding, man. I'm like eating, like I overeat. And here I am, I'm like drinking more alcohol and stuff. I'm not proud to say that, but I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I've gone times where I've drank before and then like I stopped for the longest time. I can stop if I really want to, but I don't have a chemical dependency. But I do want to escape mentally. It's like I just, it's horrible. It's a bad habit. It's not good for your health. But that's just kind of what I'm doing here the last few months. I guess is just drinking more and more. And that's bad, and it's hard. It's horrible to admit it, but hey, I mean, I guess you got to face the truth. But I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm just kind of living right now, and I just really don't want to worry about it. Like I said, I just want to escape. So that's just kind of what's going on with me right now. But need for excess stimulation to enable ejaculation. That's just run-of-the-mill normal for me. It's just, that's just the way it is, and it's just like I recorded a Dreamcast video where I was talking about this, and there's like a part of me was like, don't even talk about that. But it's just like, I swear this is like common problems for circumcised men, and I know this, so it's like, at the same time, it's just embarrassing to talk about it. But like, why am I made to be ashamed of my body or my bodily functions when that's what I was made to be? Society wanted me to be circumcised. I didn't want to be circumcised. I shouldn't be ashamed. Society should be ashamed. Society should be ashamed of itself for doing this to innocent young babies. Because innocent young babies grow up into men. They turn into adults. And nobody wants to ask the adult, nobody wants to ask the child, like, what do you want done to your body? Or like, we shouldn't even be asking people to alter their bodies. It shouldn't be a question. It should be common sense. You don't cut babies. That's it. Period. His body, his choice. Period. That's it. May have to result to prolonged thrusting during intercourse to stimulate sufficiently the residual erogenous penile nerve endings to trigger ejaculation. That just makes me mad, man. Just the residual erogenous penile nerve endings. That's just bullshit. Females don't have to worry about residual erogenous nerve endings. You know what I'm saying? And like that, I mean, you might be thinking that I hate females for having full genitalia. It's just like I kind of do in a way, because it's like they don't see anything outside of themselves. Like, I really do feel like females need to have a little bit more compassion for men. I'm not saying that not all of them do, or like I'm not saying that some of them don't, but in my personal life, I just see just a bunch of selfish females, solipsistic. You know what I mean? But that's just delving into more MGTOW content there. Yeah, circumcised partners were significantly less happy about their sexual functioning than were generally intact partners. I just know it, man. If I wasn't circumcised, man, I'd be able to maintain an erection just easier. You know what I mean? Circumcised men express significantly greater dissatisfaction with their sex lives than did genitally intact men. I swear, I'm not trying to reread this stuff twice. I think I just have two similar sentences that I highlighted here. Circumcision may impede psychosexual and emotional intimacy between partners. Yeah, no duh. No duh. I can't feel close with nobody, man. I just feel like females just don't get it. They don't want to get it. And they don't care. And it sucks. Because I want to connect with females. You know what I mean? I want that, Circumcised men were often unhappy about being circumcised, experienced significant anger, sadness, feeling incomplete, cheated, hurt, concerned, frustrated, abnormal, and violated. They also found that circumcised men reported lower self-esteem than did genitally intact respondents. Yeah, I have incredibly low self-esteem. I totally feel incomplete. I don't feel whole. Totally feel cheated. Hurt, yeah, frustrated. I guess I don't feel abnormal. It's like there's a lot of circumcised men in America, but it's not like we talk to each other or rally or you know what I mean. It's like, I don't know, man. Just like the way that men treat other men is just like, you're on your own, like, because we're competing amongst ourselves for females, like they're just made, like their pussies are made out of gold. Reinhardt stated that psychological problems were almost universally noted by his self-selected circumcised respondents. These included reports of a sense of personal powerlessness, fears of being overpowered and victimized, lack of trust, yeah, I totally got that, sense of vulnerability to violent attack, guardedness in relationships, yeah, I'm totally guarded, reluctance to have relationships with women, yeah, I totally have a reluctance with relationships with women. Defensiveness, yeah, I'm a defensive person, yeah. Diminished sense of masculinity. I don't know, I gotta contemplate that a little bit. I go to the gym and stuff, I feel more, I don't know if I have a diminished sense of masculinity. I don't know, I gotta think about that. Feeling damaged, yeah. Sense of reduced penile size or amputation. Yeah, I wonder about that, man. Like, does it actually, like, decrease the overall size of your penis? Like, if I didn't go through that traumatic experience, would my penis be bigger? You know what I mean? Low self-esteem, shame about not measuring up. I mean, yeah, I do have these feelings. Like, I think all circumcised men do. Anger and violence towards women, irrational rage reactions, addictions and dependencies, difficulties in establishing intimate relationships, emotional numbing. Yeah, I feel kind of emotionally numb sometimes. Like, I don't know how I feel. You know what I mean? Need for greater intensity in sexual experiences. I don't go overboard like that, man. Like, I've seen stuff before, like, where, like, circumcised men, like, prefer anal sex. And I swear that that's something that the elites know about, and that they do what they can with, like promoting circumcision, because they want to promote all of this satanic stuff, because circumcision is satanic, and they want people to be, like, trapped in this prison planet. And they don't want our souls to leave. They want our souls to be trapped. And just anal sex is just this thing that people do that doesn't make any sense, and it goes against nature, and it's wrong. It, like everything in my being tells me that it's wrong. It's just that and it's something that circumcised men want to do because it's a tighter hole, because they can feel more. It's like, and that's kind of a narcissistic thing, because it's all about how the man feels about him and his thrusting, but he's not thinking about the person in their butthole, and that's messed up. And it's just like that whole conversation is messed up, and it's just that one thing leads to another. It's like, you know, with the perversion of the internet and people looking at online for stuff. Like, people they'll look at one thing, get tired of it, look at another thing, get tired of it. That's why I'm an advocate of no fat, because once you just like take a step back and just like stop masturbating and stop looking at that stuff, that's when you become the greater, like a greater version of yourself, like a more spiritual version of yourself, more of like a godly type person. Like, God can shine through you more. But continue on with this list. Decreased intimacy, yeah. Decreased ability to communicate, yeah, man. It's like this video is super long and stuff, and I'm just like reading from this list and stuff, because like this list is helping me to like keep this video more coherent. But it's extremely hard for me to convey how I feel, or to feel like people can understand, or I can't really make myself be understood like I want. I don't know. Like, there's a barrier there with just like communication and intimacy, and just like I'm just like lacking. I'm just, you know, I'm thrown under the bus, man. It's just that I'm so misunderstood, and it's just so complex and messed up. And just like an ounce of compassion from a female would like go the longest way, but they just don't care. They just don't care. They have no time for it. And it's just so, that's just one other thing to like get into. And just like me having to wear like a Band-Aid in order for me to like function as a person without like I need to feel secure, so I use a Band-Aid to, you know, keep my dick strapped down. You know, it's just so I can just like go on through the day and stuff. Like, if I was to ever have like an impromptu sexual encounter, that's just one extra thing to explain, and it's just one extra thing that like might turn her off. And that sucks. That's horrible, and that sucks, because like they might just not understand, you know what I mean? Like it just sucks that there has to be that barrier, you know, and it's just that, and it's not something that you can just easily talk about. Like, that's why I want to have long-term relationships in my life, but it's like, you know, I can't do the hookup thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, I gotta have like an emotional bond with people and stuff, but like, it's just not happening, man. It just ain't happening. But anyway, decreased ability to communicate, as well as feelings of not being understood. I totally feel misunderstood. Circumcised men reported emotional harm, physical harm, general psychological harm, low self-esteem, feeling abnormal or unnatural, that one's human rights have been infringed. Yeah, like our human rights have been infringed. Yep, that's pretty much it. Angry, frustrated, violated, impeded sexually, betrayed by one's parents. Yeah, I totally blame my parents, because they made the ultimate decision. A lot of this is like rehashing it, but you know, we're almost done with the documentary. Maybe not completely, but one adult thinks about it every time he takes a shower or urinates, and I'm the same way. It's like, it sucks, but I don't want to think about it, but it's one thing that you're just content. You have to live with your penis, you know. You have to live with your body, and if you're continually reminded, it's just a reminder of your slavery. It just sucks. It's not like crying over spilled milk. It's like you broke the glass that the milk. Like, at least with spilled milk, you can clean out the milk, wash the glass, pour another glass. But with circumcision, it's like you spilt the milk, and you smashed the glass, and you got nothing to pour the milk into. You're broken, you know. Daily, I wish I were whole. Yeah, that's what somebody said. I wish I were whole, you know. And I'm not willing to do the foreskin restoration because it's just it brings up too many demons. It just brings up too many demons. I'm not saying I'm infested with demons. I'm just saying like it makes me go through this like rage roller coaster that I don't want to go. I don't want to go down again. I don't want to go through that again. It's possible that problems related to circumcision may be greater than reported. This may be compounded by the fear of dismissal or ridicule of one's feelings. Yeah, like I can't talk about this stuff easily with people, and it's like I have to make myself do it, and that's why I'm uploading this video, because I want the world to change, and I want people to feel more comfortable talking about this kind of stuff, because if we don't talk about it, nothing's going to change, and people are going to just keep cutting babies thinking it's normal, and it's just so backwards and fucked up. We need this to stop now. Privacy surrounding matters of sexuality may inhibit men from speaking out, and yeah, it's like I really just have to go out on a limb putting out this stuff, because like there's just this big part of me that's saying just don't, this is get too much information territory, but screw that, man. Me being comfortable talking about my own genitalia takes the back seat to circumcision in society just being messed up. We need to change this. If I can save one baby boy from being carved up, then I can feel like I said, that my existence here on this planet is just somewhat justified. It is conceivable that the effects of circumcision trauma might become chronic and deeply embedded within the unconscious psyche, making it difficult to distinguish them from personality traits or effects due to other causes. In any case, more research is needed to address the conscious and unconscious psychological effects of circumcision on men. A lot of men don't think about their circumcision. They don't. They would rather not think about it. And when you try to come at them with facts, they will come back at you with rage, because they don't want to think about it. And they will blame you. They will shoot the messenger for trying to steer the world into a better place. And a lot of men who are like doctors that circumcise babies, they are circumcised themselves. And it's this cycle of, this wave of mutilation, like the Pixies song, wave of mutilation. And it's messed up and backwards. And I think that more and more men need to wake up and become self-actualized and do inner work and connect the dots. But I guess a lot of men don't have enough time to do that because they're too busy chasing pussy. Because they are confused and they think that that's what life is all about. If you're not chasing pussy, that's like what society teaches us, right? We need to go out there, chase pussy, or else we're not worth anything, And that's stupid. We shouldn't be trying to chase female validation, because soliciting for female attention is pointless, because we're the ones putting in all the effort. We're the prize, and yet we're treated like we're trash. It's ridiculous, and it's just really messed up and backwards, and men are giving, we're there's a lot of good in us, and we're treated like crap. And I'm tired of that crap. It's so played out and dumb. I just want more and more people to wake up and to just become enlightened and change the world for a better place by being a good example to others, by being good to themselves and doing what's right for themselves and for their children by not circumcising. Yeah. So we read that little part of it, that it's kind of embedded into the psyche. I wrote one of my sisters a letter about this and sent her this PDF file, just a printout of it. But To circumcise or to allow one's child to be circumcised is a serious and irreversible choice. So I pose the question, why do it? Why in the world do it? Doesn't make any dag-nab sense. Get my phone's flashlight here. Studies suggest long-lasting memory of circumcision pain. Yeah, if I could think about it less, I would. You know? We may perceive and accept only information that fits our beliefs. Some physicians who support circumcision dismiss outright new information that conflicts with their preconceived view. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias. I can't speak right. I think there's just too many unevolved people on this planet. Why can't the smart people procreate as opposed to just these organic portals or whatever they're called, you know? These people who just don't think, you know? I don't know. It's like we're told to just have a family. Don't question anything. Just procreate for just the sake of doing it. Just go ahead and carve your baby up. Just do this and do that. People ain't thinking like deeper, you know? Okay, avoidance of new information about the possible psychosexual sequelae of circumcision may lead to rigidity of thinking and a dependence on previously acquired dogma and cultural myths to counteract and subdue doubts, thereby maintaining cognitive harmony. As Bigelow stated, this effect is very detectable among parents who have elected to circumcise their son, especially since they cannot retract their choice. These parents frequently do not want to hear anything negative about their infant circumcision. It's kind of like voting a certain way and then justifying it and like standing behind the president even if the president sucks. You understand? Like, it's like drinking one soda brand over the other one, and you're just saying that, oh, this one's just better. I just always drink it, and you just drink it out of habit, and you don't even want to like taste the other brand. Maybe that's more of a poor analogy, but okay. Conclusion. Okay, male circumcision may result in lifelong physical, sexual, and sometimes psychological harm as well. Yeah, dude. Like it's affected me. It's you know, and the more I talk about it, the more misunderstood I feel, because I've tried to talk to my family about this, and they said, "Oh, you need therapy." But the way I see it is that if they're telling me that I need therapy, that's very dismissive. And that's their answer for everything anyway, because they talk to therapists. And I'm trying to tell them that there's no resources for males. It's the whole industry is focused on females' needs. And you know, like there's like domestic abuse shelters in America. There's like 2 of them for men. There's like thousands for women. You know, there's just not an infrastructure even put into place for men. You know, like we just we got MGTOW, we got websites. There's like anti-circumcision websites and stuff like that. But I don't know. You know, it's like, what do you do? I think that the only thing to do is to turn inward and pray and journal and talk to yourself and just meditate. You know, because I mean, like nothing else does anything. You know what I mean? But that is the document, and that pretty much says what I wanted to say in regards to the psychological effects of circumcision and how that applies to me in my life. Just feeling misunderstood, not really articulating myself as well as I would like, trying to articulate myself as much as I could, trying to be positive as much as I can in my normal day-to-day life, and just, you know, just having to deal in a world that doesn't care. And I mean, it's not necessarily bad that people don't care. It's just that people not caring is compounded because this is an avoidable issue that people could totally avoid just the emotional pain that comes with it, the psychological pain that comes with it. Just the whole factors with lack of intimacy and stuff like that. That really kind of hits home where just being really resentful about not living the life that I could have lived. Like I could have lived more of a healthy, natural, better life. But here we are. And, we talk about video games on this channel, and we focus on that, and it makes me happy. And it's something that's been extremely good for me. Just focusing on the good stuff and trying to steer the mind's path, and trying to be more mindful, going out in nature a little bit more. Like I've done like strides in my life in the last year and a half. I just feel like I just keep getting better and better. I just keep finding little solutions for myself, like, finding Band-Aids and stuff. That was like a huge comfort for me. I recommend, if you've never considered that might be an option for you. It's just such a huge topic that is so messed up and wrong. It's a huge topic, and I welcome anybody to research the topic as much as you can. There's multiple resources online, but don't let anybody invalidate your experience. I know I'm not alone. And not everybody wants to speak up about this. And I welcome people just doing just a little thumbs up if you want. If not, hey, I tried. If somebody could just view this and just listen to it, then I did the universe a little bit of a favor, I guess. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and I just had to let this, get this off my chest and everything. And if you have children, do not circumcise them. If you have friends that are considering or they're about to have birth, just let them know, even if it's uncomfortable, just let them know that circumcision is messed up. You don't cut a baby. Do what you can to save that child, because I think every child deserves the best chance at the best life that they can live. And that's what I want for the future generations. I just think that other people don't deserve what us circumcised men have to go through. And that's all I want to say. So I just appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.